only unmute when I'm talking.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I just used it soon once, so I actually,
Hmm.
so I didn't know there's a picture. Anyway, so baby, just focus on your call.
Chat group. So I'll make
All
it
right.
quick, man, to go around. Todd, just to welcome you to the group.
Thank you.
And I hope you got the background on how it was started. Basically, with the market tanking, a former colleague, Vanessa Streeter, and my of mine got together and said, why don't we reach out to our network and ensure that we are pushing people to get involved in investing. And my approach is really this meeting is to hold us accountable. One, to of course educate ourselves on the stock market, share tips, and really grow what I call an investor's mindset. And that's a generational mindset. So you're thinking not just about the money you can make now, but how you're going to impact your network and your friends and your kids from an investing standpoint. So that's our kind of elevator pitch. Welcome.
Thank you.
I won't throw you in the hot seat. I'll make it real quick. We generally just go around the room and tell folks how our week was. Had a really solid week. Finally got some closet doors. So really excited about finishing up my bedroom. But other than that, it's been low key, a lot of work, a lot of social justice. I do a lot of social justice stuff. So that's just always hot, always something to do. So that's about it for me. I will tag my sister Ta. So you let us know how you're doing, and let's keep it rolling.
Let me unmute my screen. Oh, I'm not muted. Am I muted? No.
No, we can hear you,
Okay.
Ta.
Hey, what's up, Todd? Welcome to the group. And
Thank
I'm
you. Thank you.
Taisha. This week in Taisha News, I've been doing a lot of work on my website and trying to regain the clients that I had last year in my personal training business. And so that's where I'm at this week, really working on a second, third, fourth set of income and all that so that I can grow this and take advantage of this era that we're entering, hopefully, with Biden as our new president. And yeah, so I can take advantage of the upcoming stock hikes or whatever happens with the stock market. So that's where I'm at. Trying, and so if anybody knows how to do a website really good, holla at your girl. Because I'm
Who
having
you
trouble.
tagging? Who you
I'm
tagging, Ta?
tagging. I'm gonna
Good to hear.
tag. I would love to see Vicky, but I don't know if she's on Daniel. I'll tag Daniel.
Appreciate it. Hey, how you doing, Todd? Nice to
All
meet
right.
you.
How you doing, dude? Nice to meet you, guys.
Good to see everybody. I know I wasn't able to jump on last week, but week is going good. Trying to take care of some renovation projects similar to T at my house here out in Pennsylvania. So just helping my folks out. But yeah, I'm just like I said on the same wave as Todd and everybody else. Really just trying to get educated and take advantage of this opportunity. Knowing that we trying to jump on this wave and be able to look back a couple years from now and be able to smile and know that we got
Absolutely.
our money right.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
So
All
Who
right.
you
yeah,
tagging?
come on.
Had to unmute myself. Hi, everybody. Hope you had a good week. Um, Basically, this week I have been trying to find a new place, trying to get a new apartment in Brooklyn, preferably, maybe Lower Manhattan, Queens. Looking around, not too successful, not too seeing too many things that I love, but with something that I do love is my homegrown project. I went to see one of my clients, and they are still growing tomatoes today, currently in June, from plants that we planted back in July.
Nice.
So I'm really excited about that. Hopefully that'll turn into more tomatoes and I can get more clients out of that and get this website started and really, do this business. And that's
Nice.
about it. That's what's going on this week for me.
Nice. Who you tagging?
William?
What's up?
Todd,
I
you
always
see me
gotta
saving
follow.
you
How,
for last,
how you
Todd.
doing?
I always gotta follow his growing stories, man. No, yo, listen, it's crazy. I had been having these dizzy spells. And come to find out, it has something to do with my jaw. So I
Oh
gotta go to
wow.
the dentist. That's what I've been going through the last like week and a half.
Oh wow.
Just been getting dizzy. I've been going. I went to see a neurologist, my primary care doctor. They like, yo, nothing seemed wrong to you. A while back, my jaw was popping, and now it's like a little sore. So apparently, I looked it up. it has something to do with your jaw giving you vertigo symptoms.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
wow.
So at least now I know what it is, and I have to go to the dentist to get it worked out.
That's
Okay,
good. And you won't drive yourself crazy.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anything
Yo,
makes you crazy today. You think you got the
it feel
vid
like
or
I'm drunk.
something.
I feel like I'm drunk all the time. No,
Wow.
you know when you drink and everything just starts moving. It's just like it's a weird feeling. But
Good stuff.
I'm still like excited for this group. Can't wait to get to the. I know some of you guys are already doing options. I'm super excited to show y'all those things once y'all ready. But I'm gonna tag Vicky. Welcome back.
Woohoo! Oh, okay. Peace and blessings, everybody. Glad to be back. Woo, been gone a little too long. Had a fantastic week. It was a little stressful because I am a flight attendant. So every 18 months, I have to get requalified to do my job. So sometimes it's a little stressful, but it was successful. So I'm glad about that. Just trying to focus and get into my stock investments more. So I'm just looking to do this 2021 going strong. Welcome, Todd.
Thank you. How you been, man?
I'm tagging you.
Thanks. Okay, so I'll just give you a brief summary of myself. It's actually 2:44 in the morning. I live in Germany now. I moved here 5.5 years ago, almost, yeah, a bit more, almost 6 years ago. With my family. And so, yeah, my story is long, but my story really had to do with, I had an opportunity to get out of America because I knew that it was going to fall apart, but that's a whole other story. So I'm here now. My stock history is very small. I used to have Apple stock when I worked for Apple. And unfortunately, I sold my stock at the beginning of Trump's administration, which was just a tragic move. But you know, it is what it is now, and I'm trying to get back into it. I recently bought some cryptocurrency, and I bought a couple stocks with Robinhood. I'm just trying to learn and you know, do the whole thing and make this money. Long term, I'm really thinking more long term than I am just quick money. So,
Well, good stuff. Good stuff. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm interested to know what's the precipice for starting now? Have you been in the group? Who referred you?
Oh, my cousin Tracy.
Oh, I figured it was Tracy. I didn't want to say anything.
I'm sorry.
Told me that you're in, so that's good.
Yeah,
Good
man, my
stuff.
cousin Tracy, and I guess Vicky told Tracy.
Yeah. Oh, good stuff.
So,
Well,
yeah.
Actually, Tracy told me.
Oh,
good.
Yeah.
all right.
Thanks for
Yeah.
being up this late with us, man. So, what we started and what we're excited about, I think, is having everybody adopt the stock and really talk about the core aspects of that stock, how they make money, who their customers, how they scale up, and do they have what's their competition, and do they have the ability to really grow. So we started with adopting stocks. Vicky, I don't know. I know we spoke later in the week. I know you were supposed to get one. So that'll be your quick homework assignment, Todd, to adopt the stock. And what I want to do now is I'll start off by going with an update on the very good company, which is my stock. And I think if you don't have these points, let's figure out how everyone could have the same metrics for their stock, so we can report this week on our stocks to the entire group. So in terms of the very fine company, it's a Canadian company. We really looked at first how they make money. So they sell vegan products. They're in about, I think, 6% of the supermarkets in Canada. They're looking to build a 25,000 square foot facility here in California, in the States, and another one in Vancouver. So they're looking to scale up. Just to give you a kind of nutshell where the plant-based food industry is going, I think it was up about 500% this year, and their targets is Generation Z. Those are research states that 80% of Generation Z, those are kids between 6 and 24, I think. 80% will choose a meatless meal once or twice a week. So when you look at that type of stat in terms of plant-based foods, I'm excited about the growth of the company. Their direct competition is Beyond Meat. And just to give you an example of what that is in relation to Beyond Meat, they're valued right now at about about 260 million. That's their valuation of the company. And Beyond Meat is valued at 10 billion. So Beyond Meat is 40 times the value of the Very Good company. So in terms of competition, they're low on the totem pole compared to probably hits their stock price. Their stock price now is only $5. Beyond Meat, I think it's about 130. So I'm confident about the growth of the company. For me, I purchased about 250 shares of the Very Good Fine Company. So it's something that I'm going to hold throughout this year. I'm going to monitor it based on how it scales up and grow. But it's something that I will hold for at least a year or 2 years. The risk is what I want to add to. The risk, they said, is whether or not Beyond Meat will cannibalize them. Now, they have a great deal of growth opportunity because that's where the market is going, so to speak. A lot of people are their sites, traffic is off the chain. You know, their buys and orders are going up, but their risk is whether or not they can stay competitive if someone else pops up and jump into that market. So that's their biggest risk, but that's what I'll keep an eye on. So I'll stop there with the Very Fine Company, but I hope that gives you guys a nice nutshell of the company itself, and you know, whether it's something you want to invest in. Right now, it's only going for $5 and change. Any questions on the Very Good Company?
I got one. I got
Go ahead.
one. There's another company that's really popular among YouTubers, but it's worth a look to see if they're gonna be a competition, another competition. Tattoo Chef, I think it's called.
Mm.
So I don't know if you want to look at that and see if it's gonna be a competition for and stunt your company's growth, but it's worth a look.
Got it. I'll do the comparisons. I'll see where they are at, what's their market. I know the Very Fine Company is specifically targeting Generation Z, so they're targeting that long year growth. So
I have a
Tattoo Chef,
question.
I'll look into that.
I have a question. So how, because I'm not I want to get better at researching and I couldn't, and I might be vague on my search terms. And what you just said gave me an idea of how to search for my company's competitors, which is Grow Generation. And so how did you figure out who their competitors were on the stock market, who were on the stock exchange or who are exchanging stock? Because I see other stores that are doing the same thing as my company, but I don't know if they trade.
Yeah, it's for me it was easy because it's a unique market, so that they have the plant-based industry. There's only Morningstar, Beyond Meat. There's only a few competitors. So I got the specific stats from Seeking Alpha. Seeking Alpha is what I think is one of the best websites to research stocks. And you can sign up for free. It doesn't cost you money. It gives you access to all of the articles and kind of what's interesting I like about Seeking Alpha particularly is that on their main article, when you're looking up a certain company, it'll tell you the risk of investing in that company and what are their advantages. So they give you the pros and cons so that as you're monitoring the company, you can weigh it against those risks and pros. But it's called Seeking Alpha, SEEKING alpha.com. So that's how I got that info. And then I do a little bit more diligence. I mean, as you know, Google is always an easy, way to find out a specific question that you're looking for, but that's what I use to answer your question, Seeking Alpha.
Mhm. Okay, so I'll go next with my very vague. um,
But let's do it. So while if you go to the next person when I'm glad you're jumping up, but if you're saying it's just vague, let's make sure we at least hit those factors of how they make money, who are their customers, how they plan to scale up, and what's their competition. So at least make sure if you don't have it now, like do that throughout the
Paul?
throughout the call, at least try to capture that.
Okay, no, I can say what, but it'd still be vague. I can answer those questions, but vaguely.
Got it.
So who are they? The Grow Generation. They sell hydroponic supplies. It's like the Home Depot of supplies for growing marijuana. Their customers are companies in states that have legalized marijuana. How they make money again is just the same way as just selling their supplies to those companies. Their competitors are a few. I'm not sure if they sell them this, like if they trade stocks though. So that's one thing that you could put it in the chat, Will, because my phone is charging. Did you text me?
Put what? No, I didn't check anything.
What and how do they make money? Again, selling those supplies to companies that sell marijuana to grow it. And they've gone up 1,600% since last March 2020. So they do have growth ability or growth potential. The analysts rate them at a high of $65 per share and $27 for a low, but it says, like I've read, that Wall Street isn't really sure about the stock, and that's the reason why they're fluctuating so much on that, like, because that's a big price cap, 27 and 65, but it's been steady going up. It had one price drop on this Tuesday, but since has recovered. So it looks to be very promising. I've had my eye on it since November, and I sold it in the end of November, and it's only gone up since then. That's what I got.
Got it. I had a quick question. You said, so their process in growing weed is through hydroponics?
Hydroponics.
Hydroponics. I mean, I know what that is, but is that what they do?
No, they sell supplies to the companies who grow their marijuana that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff.
Cool.
Any other questions for Ty?
Please ask me a question so I know what to research.
Well, I think to give you, so how are they scaling up is a good thing. I mean, if they're going to follow the trend of
how they scaling up is they are acquiring new markets. So they just had a big acquisition with a Canadian. A Canadian market. Yes, Kamal.
Yeah, thank you. Did we? Because I thought we discussed. Is there another company that we discussed that's like a Home Depot?
No, that was it.
Because I thought I invested in that on our last call, because I thought that was a really good company, like from what you were saying, but I don't see it.
You don't see it in your portfolio?
Yeah, that's or unless
it's called Grow Generation, and the ticker is GRWG. GRWG. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's basically $50 right now.
Yes, and when I first got it, it was at 20 something, so it was already at the low that analysts are saying that they were predicting. So.
Okay.
Who's up next? Who's going to volunteer next?
Wait, I got a question. When is their earnings? Do they have an earnings call? I'm not sure.
Earnings call.
Yeah.
I'll look that up and I'll get that before the end of the call.
Yeah. All right. That's all my questions. When's the earnings call? It's earnings season, so everybody's got like an earnings call coming up. And they're gonna tell you their numbers and stuff like that.
right, well, I'll tag you then.
I'm I missed something with Plug Power the other week. Not this last week that just passed, but the week before. They had a lockup expiration from the two companies they acquired in June. They had a 6 months. It was like stock deal where they bought the companies out and issued them shares of their stock as part of the deal. So that the agreement of the deal was that they couldn't.
You muted yourself, Will.
Sorry, Zaire muted me. They couldn't sell their stocks until 6 months after. So it just expired, and that's why their stock dropped not last week, but the week before. This week's news, they decided on where they're going to build their new factory. Their new factory is going to be bigger than the one that they have now. They're using that factory to build their fuel cells, the membranes for their fuel cells. It's going to be in Rochester, New York. It's going to cost $125 million. They just got like $3 billion off for the deals and the stock offerings they did recently. So that's a drop in the bucket for them. Also, they get in a state rebate for building in New York and creating jobs of 13 million. So it's going to offset some of the cost. They have their earnings this Tuesday before the market opens. So I'll report back next week what those numbers look like.
Got it. You got their top competitors?
Their competitors, Fuel Cell, but Fuel Cell hasn't had much news of as far as expanding. Clean Energy, what the heck is their ticker symbol? I don't know their ticker symbol off the top of their head. Bloom Energy.
I think it's CSK. If I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
Yeah, something like that. Bloom Energy is another one of their competitors. A lot of their competitors do hydrogen, but they also do other things. So Linde is another one, but Linde also does chemicals. They sell other chemicals. They're like Fuel Cell and Plug are like really the only two that's pure hydrogen sellers. Other companies sell other chemicals as well as hydrogen.
And you said that the hydrogen that they sell is for electronic vehicles?
So right now, their primary business is selling forklifts. A lot of forklifts use diesel fuel. Theirs use hydrogen. It lasts longer, it's more efficient. It takes less time to charge. Well, fuel cells, energized by gas. Diesel, you have to fill it up or whatever. It's just cleaner. So Amazon and Walmart want to be zero emissions by 2030, 2040, and they're helping them do that. That deal that they signed recently was with a French automaker, to build cars. So they're moving into the car market, and they're going to start building drones.
Are they the one with the deal with Renault?
Yeah. Renault, and then SK Group. I brought that up a few weeks ago. They made a big deal with SK Group for making South Korea clean, renewable.
So what does that mean? What does that mean? Walmart and Amazon trying to be zero emissions. What does that mean?
Well, that makes up most of their business. That makes up most of their business, to be honest. So that's about, I think, 80% of their business. That's their two biggest customers. So part of being zero emission is that every part of their business, they don't want to emit greenhouse gases. So right now, if they was using diesel forklifts in their warehouses, they would be emitting greenhouse gases. So they don't use diesel forklifts anymore. They use Plug Power's forklifts that are clean hydrogen.
Sorry, I have so many questions, you guys. I'm really sorry, but I'm having trouble understanding why two big companies like Walmart and Amazon would care.
Could I answer?
Oh, go ahead.
What I think is going on is we're thinking, or maybe that's too broad. Daycare, because it's going to be cheaper in the long run for them, and they're going to get tax breaks for jumping on this right now. So they're using the forklifts right now, but it's going to also turn into their general everyday delivery trucks.
Yes. Yes.
So they will be saving money not just on gas and just admissions, but they'll also be making money because they'll get cutbacks from the government.
It's also that's a good question, because that is the way a lot of people are starting to invest in companies. It's becoming a big talking point in companies. Are companies environment conscious? And that's how
Saving
people
the
are
planet.
investing, because it's a big thing. Like, I'm not sure if you've seen in the news a few weeks ago, they said a big chunk of iceberg floated off of Antarctica and floated towards South America. And that's gonna rise sea levels here in New York. That's gonna affect us over the next decade, 2 decades. So, that's a big thing to that entire world. The Paris Climate Accords is another big thing. 200 companies signed on to be environmentally conscious. So companies have to care, because that's how people are investing.
Thank you,
Uh,
Don. That was good.
Will, who you tagging? Good stuff, Will.
Danielle. Daniel. Sorry.
Whoa.
I had Blink, and I actually found out about Blink through my brother. He's the one who kind of was like just throwing me tips here and there about it. I really didn't know too much about it, but they're a publicly electrical vehicle like charging company. So they have charging equipment software that helps kind of like electrical drivers. So pretty much like a charging station. They provide those charging stations across the across the country. And I know in terms of their clientele, is more folks who just the parking facilities, multifamily residents. So like if you're driving in a neighborhood, you see those you know probably condos and such like that. You probably will find Blink or a charging unit there. A lot of healthcare and educational facilities have them too, hospitals. So that's kind of who that makes up their clientele. Competitors, I found a few. I know I wasn't too familiar on these. I'm sure you all might be. SEMA Connect, Plug Share. I did see Zipcar. I've seen Zipcar, in a few locations. So that's another one. All these competitors are all U.S. based. I think there was one or two that were out of the country in Germany.
What was that first one you mentioned? Their competitor?
SEMA Connect.
SEMA Connect.
Yeah, SEMA Connect, and then ChargePoint.
Also,
Plug Share.
Fuel cells.
Yeah.
Compete with them also.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then I know just some recent news about, I guess not recent, but within the past 3 months. I know back in August, what I found they had formed an agreement with Cushman and Wakefield, which is Cushman and Wakefield. I didn't know about it, but they're one of the largest real
Big
estate.
property. Big property.
Yeah, real estate.
A lot of half of Manhattan.
Yeah, yep. So they signed an agreement with them to, sell their IQ 200 units, which is considered one of the fastest two AC charging stations available on the market. So they signed that agreement, I think, back in August, which I'm sure is going to obviously impact the folks or the clients that we just mentioned, all those locations across, Manhattan and all the other places. And then I was talking to T about this. I saw an article that came out last week, and I forgot to post it in the group, but I can share it in the group after this. It was about their shares that fell down. I think their CEO had sold over 500,000 shares last week, and that caused everything to drop. And sorry, I'm trying to pull back up.
Yeah, that always happen.
Yeah, he sold 540 million common shares or common stock at $41 each, and that kind of, I guess, caused the short stock, or no, I take that back. Not short stock. Short circuited the stock.
Yeah.
I guess that's a term. I never heard of it, but I thought that was interesting.
But why would that happen? Why would a CEO of a company sell so many shares of his own stock? I
I
thought
mean,
what they would do is they would make make more available, which would reduce the value of the stock.
Yeah, he could be moving. It's a lot of reasons why. I mean, I think that whole game, especially now when you're in Silicon Valley and you have so many shares of a stock, maybe he wants to buy a house. Maybe, he just feels like it's COVID season. He don't know how long he wants to live. He want to just blow that money in something else. For most cases, is leveraging that money for something else.
A
But
Yeah,
lot of
but-
time,
Get a divorce.
But
A lot
wouldn't
of
that, but
a
wouldn't
lot of
that,
time.
but wouldn't
Sorry.
that take away from his company and make his company less valuable?
yeah. I mean, he could be moving on. You never really know, but it always causes the stock to drop a bit when the CEO is not fully invested, because that's exactly what it's telling all of the other shareholders. If your CEO is not holding the stock, what is the potential for that stock to grow in the short term? So, I mean, it's right now it's considered, it had its surge, it had a very good surge. It's considered somewhat overvalued where it is now, where it's trading. So maybe he sees this being a max for a short term, and he's gonna, make the money that he can. What I'd like to do on that note is know how many shares he has left.
Right. That's what I was just about to say, because Plug Power just did Andy Marsh is the CEO of Plug Power. He just sold a whole bunch of shares, but he still has more than what he sold
Yeah.
left.
You're gonna play the leverage game. You're gonna take that's what everyone does when is hedging your bets. So
How many he has left?
6.7 million.
Oh, wow.
Oh, there you go. He's still well invested in the company.
yeah. So and he only wow. He sold 500,000 shares. He has 6.7 million shares. Damn, that's only less than 10%. He sold less than 10% of his whole his
That's
shares.
a lot of money. These
But
boys.
the
That's
other
why
thing
the
is,
Silicon Valley game is crazy.
Yeah. the other thing is, some of these CEOs, they don't make us, especially because of what COVID, they don't make a salary. Maybe they just have
Yeah.
stock options.
Yeah.
I was like, he need a new house.
So
Somebody's get this
Daniel,
house.
what is Blink currently? I could probably look it up. My phone's on the charger, but what is Blink trading at?
44, I think 44.85.
And is that up from when did him selling have make it go down?
Yeah, I think because this happened last, I think on the 15th of this month.
Yeah. It
It
was
dropped.
like 52. I think it went all the way up to like 52, 54. So it dropped like 20% considerably, almost 15-20%.
Gosh, I just think some things like you can never tell. Like it could be a diabolical move since Trump is no longer in office, that he wants people to think that this company, I don't know. Let me stop speculating on dumb stuff that I have nothing.
A whole new
glad you stopped
conspiracy
yourself.
theory.
I'm glad you stopped yourself. I'm so glad. That's a real good thing you did that. Yeah. Any other questions for Daniel?
I would the competition is interesting to me. There was another one that just went public through SPAC this week. So I would just be interested to see, maybe we could do some digging to see which ones is like really here to stay. If Blink is the far and ahead, I know where they are right now, but like what's everyone's plan to grow and to stay, because a lot of them is not gonna be here.
I have a question. Do Blink, because Blink and what's your company, Plug and Fuel Cell seem to all be intertwined some way. Is that right? Like, because
Yeah.
I know Blink is a charging station, but
Yeah.
Plug supplies hydrogen. But does the charging station work off of hydrogen?
No. Blink is gonna be electric. Hydrogen is like an alternative to electric, kind of, and it also can work with electric. So
Yeah,
it's
because
kind
they
of
have
different.
hydrogen bulbs, light bulbs.
Yeah, it's kind of different lane. No, that's a different hydrogen.
Oh,
But yes, they do.
dang.
But yeah, they're all in like the renewable energy side of things. They just tackle different areas. Blink is really like a pure play energy company. I mean, charging company.
Daniel, who you tagging?
I think Kamal, right?
Yeah, go ahead, come on.
All right. Hello, everybody. I am on, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sweet. my company's DDD, 3D printing company. I told you, last week about the price range and about their owner and the company structure. I've been trying to find more competitors. I told you about one last week. I'm actually not home, so I don't have my notepad right now. So
It's NNDM. It was
Oh, okay.
NNDM.
Okay. So since then, I've been looking for other competitors in their field, and I found a couple. There's one called Tyler Technologies. TYL is their ticket number. NICE, same ticket number. Another company called Citrix Systems, CTXS. Something called PTC, same ticket number, and Elastiques, ESTC. But when I looked at all these companies, they were not actually as in depth as 3D. They're more so sellers, and I'm not sure where they're getting their components from to sell to manufacturers, like sell medical or sell dental people. Whereas 3D is making the printers, making the products, selling the products, as well as selling the printers. So I haven't found any real other place that I would want to invest in if I'm going to go in this 3D printing field. Right now, I'm still stuck on 3D. I think that's the best place to go. They just looked at their earning. I mean, their next earnings call is in February at some point. February 24th is their earnings call. I can get the information, but I also really don't 100% know what I'm looking for on an earnings call. I know we want to see how much they're going to make, but I don't really know whereas when the day comes, like where I'm supposed to go to find out exactly what it is that they've made, their paperwork and what have you. So how
So the earnings call is really based on, if they're going to do positive versus what is rated, their earnings call, how they've been rated from all of the major firms that track stocks earnings. So you want to look at the EPS, the earnings per share. You want to see how much they made. If it's positive, then what they and it's easy to find out if you check on the Yahoo Finance now and see what their EPS is, what their current earnings per share, and then you can kind of do the math from that. So typically when a company makes more than what it was rated to make per earnings share, that stock will go up. When it hits the rating, they'll generally have that before a few days. You'll see more articles on what should be the earnings ratings for this stock. So whether it's 15 cents per share, whatever it is. And if they beat that on the earnings call, that stock will generally go up. So you're just looking for that, and I can break it down and kind of put it in the chat so you know exactly what to look for.
It's on the chart, right?
I was about to say, I hear what you're saying, but when I look at this, I don't even know if you can see this.
Go closer.
This jumble of numbers and words and shit.
Yeah.
To me, this is Greek. So I'm like,
yeah. Oh, listen, easy way to do it. You on TD, right? Robinhood TD, doesn't matter. It's for everyone. The easy way to do it is that as your earnings call comes up, especially this is my first earnings season on TD, so I don't know how it's gonna work. But on Robinhood, you can easily just go to that stock and press play, and you can listen to the earnings. But aside from that, once they're earning their day comes out, there'll be articles. Whatever analyst is following will write an article, or Seeking Alpha, Benzinga, all of these articles will come out, and they'll say this company either beat its expectation, and it'll give you the numbers. It'll say it was expected that it was 7 cents per share and it's 8 cents per share, or they missed their numbers, expected 7% and they hit 6. And they'll tell you whether it was underwhelming, overwhelming, and that's how you'll know.
But it's also on Robinhood, on a chart on the bottom, they always have each quarter outlines, and if the quarter hasn't come up yet, then it won't be there, but they'll have like a expected, and if the earnings call hasn't come up, then it won't have the actual. But that's a really good indicator.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
That's a damn good point, Tyler.
Yep.
Look at that quarterly chart. You can see what the company is doing.
I actually have my DDD on Robinhood instead of Ameritrade.
Okay, good.
because that was a free stock that I got through Robinhood. So I just kept investing through
Do
Robinhood.
you see that chart that I'm talking about?
I'm looking right now. So
Yeah,
I'm
Let
on
me
the,
show you on mine. Hold on.
You scroll down at the bottom, you should be able to see that.
where it says stats or further down. Oh, analyst ratings.
Q4 earnings. It
Q4.
Oh,
says
earnings. Yes. Earnings. I'm
Earnings,
looking at it right
Yeah.
now.
So you can see over the quarter
Oh,
whether they
okay,
beat the
okay.
expected earnings or
Yeah.
not.
So Q4 is still out, but it says
Yeah.
Q3 and it's like -0.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what was their expected earnings? There's generally two indicators.
It has expected earnings and it's just a dash. There's no information.
So like,
Yes.
yeah.
So it came
Yeah, a
in
lot of
above.
companies weren't reporting last
No.
year.
No, it's there. So the translucent dot,
Uh-huh.
if you look down, it says expected EPS. That's the indicator, translucent dot. And then the dark green dot is actual EPS.
You see what he's talking about?
see-
You see how it say it right there? One right here and right here. Wait, right here and right.
Yeah, I mean, I
Oh.
see it, but mine says expected EPS. It's a dash, and this kind of translucent. There's actual EPS available on. Oh, so it's not saying it because it's not available yet until it's not available until February 24th.
I was just showing you Q3s.
Oh, okay. So Q3s. So
Yeah.
the translucent is a -0.08.
Yeah, 0.07 it looks like. And then the green dot is above it,
Right.
right?
So,
So
they
that
were
means
above their earnings.
they're above it, they beat it.
Okay, so that's all basically that I'm looking for, that they beat their earnings.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Also, but something that this chart doesn't show you, and you want to read one of those articles, you want to see if they're growing their revenue as well, which also will be on the call.
Okay, but I'm also not home with my books. You know, I've been out having a great time with people in New York City today, so I will
Spreading
sign
that
off.
COVID.
Look, it always gotta be one. It always gotta be one.
Well,
just pull up your mask. Just pull
Just
up
so
your
you
mask.
know,
and let her
just so
know.
you know, it was a 3-person in-house brunch with people that I with every other day. So it ain't. It
People
ain't
feel
no-
like you can't catch COVID from people you know. Yeah,
and,
I
and
know
that's
him.
true.
It's still
We
That's
protected.
good.
That's true. You could, but you know, everybody knows I'm the kind of person. If I'm in the world where I can't hug people,
Yeah.
I ain't really trying to be down in that world. So if it go
Neither
down, it
was
go down.
Trump.
If it go
Well,
down,
at
it go
least you
down.
can't catch the vid over Zoom. That's all we're concerned
Huh.
about now. You can
Huh.
close. You can't catch the
Huh.
vid through Zoom.
Huh?
That's all we worried about right now.
And I grow my own food. I'm hella healthy.
That
Who you tagging, Kamal?
Who ate?
I see
well,
Todd
Vicky.
waiting.
Oh,
He been
okay,
last
Todd.
whole
Let's
time, like Todd waiting. Like bring him, put Todd.
Also,
Oh,
Todd.
no,
Where you at in Germany? Berlin, Munich?
No, I live near Frankfurt,
Oh, Frankfurt.
about
okay,
half an
cool.
hour from Frankfurt. Yeah. So,
Mm.
Okay.
no, I don't have. I didn't pick a stock yet, so I don't. I can't
So what you want to pick?
speak on
I,
anything.
I can tell you if it doesn't hurt too bad. Apple was trading, and I researched it when you said when Trump got into office at around $32, and now it's 138. So it's a fourfold that you missed out on, depending on how many stocks you had.
When Trump got it, I sold the stock at 120. Right now, it's split. It split.
Okay.
It split maybe about 7 months ago. So I mean, I lost tens of
before it
thousands
split.
of dollars. Actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about this.
Wow.
It brings
I
a
thought you
tear
were
to
gonna go
my
back to
eye.
Apple. That's why I said that. I thought you were gonna go back. I'm just gonna go back to Apple and try to get that money back, that guaranteed money back.
Right.
I bought a few recently. Actually, I bought 3 when it was at 125 a few weeks ago. But yeah, that was just pure foolishness on my part. But I've learned. I bought a stock, which is this is a strange stock. I think it's a stock for crypto mining, companies that do crypto mining.
Nice.
It's called Bit Digital, and it was when I bought it. it was kind of good, but it's going back down a bit. But if everyone is not familiar with crypto mining, all it is just they have a bunch of servers, computers that just do computations to make cryptocurrency. It's a very strange thing. I don't even understand exactly how it really works, but there's a few companies that mine cryptocurrency, and they just do it with computers, and they just run 24 hours a day doing computations to make this currency. And so when new companies come along and they get funding from whoever, then they're able to get a bunch of new servers, and that's when their stocks tend to go up. So you just have to get it, before, at the beginning of when they get the new funding from whoever to get more servers. That's basically the way that works. But I will pick something though, because I don't really have anything
Got it.
good for the
On the
group.
crypto side, one company that I followed and I brought twice already was Riot Blockchain. So Riot Blockchain, and they invest in the whole ecosystem of blockchain services, just like you're saying. So they're all across, whether it's servers, all the technologies that come into play in mining cryptocurrency. I think their ticker is just Riot, RIOT. But they did pretty well ever since they followed a wave of Bitcoin. When Bitcoin is going up, for those that don't want to, go through the trouble of getting a digital wallet and all that, and you want to still invest in cryptocurrency, those Riot is one good company to invest in. Also, there's a company, and these are penny stocks, but they still follow cryptocurrency. It's BTSC and BTCS. I think it's Bitcoin. I forget the exact name of it. But while you're on that, I just want to give you some heat to follow. These are companies that I've purchased in the past and traded already.
I want to say that we do since you are new to the group, I don't know if you're on the WhatsApp, but Terrell had put out a bunch of industries that are kind of booming in this new era, and so maybe you'd like to pick from those industries and or the actual stock that he listed there.
Okay.
So that's what we were kind of doing, because they were like the next big things or whatever. But we do have a few other things to get to, right, Ralph?
Green energy and cybersecurity. So those were the three industries. And of course, marijuana. Marijuana we didn't really mention because it's still not backed by the banks, and a lot of the companies are contingent upon the legalization across, but it's still coming. So it's something that you can shoot for long term.
Okay.
But thanks for that, Ty. That was a good point. Vicky, we saved you for last, but talk to us. Did you get a chance to pick that company?
I have a question. Was the assignment to pick companies that's more or less up and coming or that's been established for a while? Because I was torn between an ETF and Roku. And I actually no longer own any stock of Roku, but because I accidentally sold it, my goal is to eventually work my way to purchasing more Roku stock, because it's a stock that I kind of believed in and I thought it would be successful. And so far it's been moving a bit, but that was one of the companies. So that was my first question. Were we supposed to get up and coming companies or companies that's been a little more established?
It was really based on not whether it's up and coming. It's certainly not ETFs. And I'm sorry if I didn't explain that. ETFs is, of course, a collection of stocks. So we're really looking for your analysis on one particular stock. So Roku is good. Roku is a growth stock. It's very expensive.
I know.
I think it's still growing progressively. It's one of those stocks where the company is insulated and well funded. So it's getting into that Netflix lane.
Right.
So there's still growth in it. I think it still has numbers on it. I haven't personally done any research on it, but I think it's a good stock. I'd love for you to selfishly have Roku, because I think it's a good anchor stock. Because I don't think any of us have stocks like that either way. It's in its own category because it's such in that class. It's almost under the FANG class, if you will.
Right.
The Facebook,
So,
Apple, Netflix, and Google class. It's in that lane. So
right. So it's it started to become a little dear to me. So I was starting to research it and figure out a way how to purchase some more stocks on it.
yeah.
But I don't know. I can tell you a little bit of some of my research on it. And I guess you wanted to know, how does the company make money, or what kind of company is it? It's basically it's a leading TV streaming platform provider, and it's it's leading in the US based on the amount of hours that is streamed. Of course, it has some major competitors like Amazon, Google, Apple, Netflix, and let's see. Um, the okay. Some of the platform segments generate a lot of their revenue from advertising sales, subscriptions to consumers. Um, Also, their revenue shares, the sale of branded channel buttons on remote controls, licensing agreements, and TV brand services and operation. The CEO actually invented the DVR, and he also founded Replay TV. He's Anthony Wood. He's been the founder since 2002. Also, Roku is, I was looking at it, and they have, just a lot going on global wise. They now partnering with Philco to bring TV to Brazil. Also, they also there's so much going on. Of course, they have partnerships with TV manufacturers, including TCL, JVC, Sharp, just to name a few. Let's see. The stock, I think, as of Friday was about 419, 422.
Damn, is that high? What?
Yeah, 52-week high was
Oh, cool. The
448.
last
So
time I
it's
looked at it, it
just,
was like 3 something.
Yeah,
it's
Wow,
just
what?
moving. So
That's
I mean,
what I was
Stop
about to. I was waiting for you to
praying.
stop talking so I could ask some questions about the stock price, because I don't even know. I know Roku because I see it on TVs, but I don't know. I never knew what Roku. I didn't know if it was a streaming thing. I didn't know if it was a cable thing. I
I
just
don't
see
know.
it on the television, but I don't personally use it. And
yeah,
when you started talking about it, and I looked at the price, I was like, "This is more than Disney Plus. This is damn near."
I bought about 10 shares when it was about 138, and I
That's
put
crazy.
it accidentally to sell if it ever dropped, I guess like 10%. And at that time it was like 223, and it had went down a little bit and it sold. But I didn't mean to sell it. So since then I haven't purchased it again, but I'm just trying to do some research on it because I mean, it's just moving a little too fast though.
Are they like really big in the States? Is it more of like a European thing? Because
No,
again,
I think,
Roku.
I mean,
I see it
have
on everybody's
Roku.
TV, but I don't know exactly what I'm getting. Like I see it, just like I see Sony and Samsung and the Netflix logo, but I don't
Right.
really know
Like,
what exactly are you giving me, Roku? What are you giving me?
Well,
It was only like
it's a
50 bucks.
streaming
at the store.
platform where you can stream, different shows,
Is
Different
it
channels. It comes with apps, and you can
gaming.
stream different
Mhm.
channels.
Mhm.
so like if you join Roku, can you see Netflix shows, or you can see NBC shows or CBS shows, or Roku has their own, you know, own
Channels.
thank
Well,
you.
they definitely have their own channels, but they have partnerships with others as well. But yeah,
Big, yeah,
Roku
I'd like
is-
to know the along the lines of Kamal's question, what is their value proposition? How do they differ from all the competition? I'm eager to know why they're still successful in that crowded space too, and what are kind of the risks for the future? because the whole streaming platform, and I only know this because I was working for a startup that did it, like it's a serious game. All of these studios like Warner Brothers rent or lease these movies to these platforms. So it's very expensive to house these movies. So people on Netflix be like, oh, why my favorite movie Love Jones is not on Netflix? It's because Netflix has to pay Warner Brothers, $60,000 a month to lease that film. So the whole streaming game is a whole, it's a whole monster in itself. But I'm interested to know more about Roku, like Kamal is asking, because I've never really watched. I know Hulu's values proposition is like TV shows. Netflix value proposition is sharp content. They're like the place to go. They're the Amazon for streaming content. I'm not really particularly familiar with Roku's value proposition. So I'd love to know that.
Okay, I will definitely check
how
on
they
the
differ
value
themselves.
proposition, but I know like some of the risks because right now they've really positioned themselves in the market, but the competition is really so close. And because like, the Amazons, NVIDIA, Google, and Apple, they can outspend research and development more because their pockets are a little deeper.
Yeah.
In that sales and marketing segment. And the other fact is like Roku doesn't produce content like Amazon and Apple. So
that makes it even more crazy to me because they
that-
don't produce comment, but they're basically Netflix is $550, so they're basically $100 cheaper than Netflix, but they don't make nothing.
So I don't know much about Roku either. But from all that I hear, I have a different kind of question / statement that you can kind of research. It seems I was following AT&T for a little while, and when HBO Max launched, they weren't able to strike a deal with Amazon to stream it on Fire TV or Roku. So that really hurt HBO Max's launch. They had to strike a deal. It seemed like Roku and Amazon was kind of blocking them. So it seems to me as though Roku is more than a streaming service. It's like it's kind of like an operating system, kind of for all of these platforms to get on.
That makes sense.
So like it's gaming and
I'm
shopping
curious on
and TV?
I'm curious on as the kitty walks behind me. I'm curious to see, know their business model. Like what? It doesn't seem as though they're paying for these licenses agreements like with Netflix and stuff like that. It seems like Netflix and Hulu and all of these people are paying them to be streamed on Roku. I would be curious to dig deep in to see if that's the case or not. Like, are these companies paying to be on their platform? Because if that's the case, then they seem like the new cable service.
That's why I'm sorry to cut you, Ricky. Like, that's why I have cable and I have Roku. And so, for instance, tonight I watched The Real Housewives of Atlanta, but Roku has Bravo as one of the networks. So right now, after I talk with you guys, I can go to Bravo, and because I have cable, I can put my cable information in and watch the show that I've missed. But if anybody has it, it's the same as Netflix. Like I could watch your Netflix if I have your password, whatever. So I use my friends, and I cannot have cable at all to watch it through the streaming through Roku, the streaming service. So I always wonder about that too, like how Netflix is still able to maintain their status, seeing as though so many people use each other's accounts.
Okay.
So to refine my question is are these streaming services paying Roku? Like, is that how is Roku making their money?
That's a good question.
Yeah, looking at it is streaming media players. So they are they're like a streaming media platform, just like Amazon and just like Apple and just like Google. They have 51% of the market share. So that's why they're making so much money. 41% rather, sorry. But But yeah, that's an interesting to look into stock. So Vicky, that's good. That's a good stock to have.
Okay.
Just to mix things up a bit. Come on, go ahead. You had your
I'm also looking at Ameritrade, just that little news joint. I know I'm raising the handshake, right? I know, my bad. But they're really talking about how this might be a better stock to invest in as opposed to Netflix from Netflix earnings. They got an article right now from January 20th, 2021, talking about how Needham, don't know who that dude is, but I guess he's an Ameritrade trader, sees Roku as a better buy following Netflix earnings. So I don't know when Netflix earning call was, but it had to have been within the last couple of days. And they're
Yeah.
saying Roku is a better place to put your money, even
and Netflix is
though
spending a hell of a lot of money too. They're just spending money.
They're actually going to get cash positive though, but it is true because streaming is so vast and they have so much competition. If Roku is what we think it is now by just our research, then it doesn't have to compete in that service.
Yeah.
They're the go-to people. The streaming
Yeah.
service has to go to them.
They're like the Microsoft.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
buying computers, but you got to get if you want to use Word, Excel, or
You have to go
Outlook, you got to
need
get that
Microsoft.
Microsoft.
Yeah, because you don't have to have, like I was saying, you don't have to have cable in order to use that at
Yeah,
all. Like, I
you-
find
So I
that
guess
amazing
it's like
because
an
I see it
Amazon
go.
Fire Stick. I guess their
Yeah, it
service
seems
is
that way.
like an Amazon Fire Stick.
They're the
So
exact
it's-
same thing.
Oh wow.
Because I had both. I used to have both. Well, I have both actually, but I just use Roku.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Well, good stuff, folks. I mean, always is at this time where we're 10 minutes over, Todd. But this is it, man. I think we all will push to get more concise on really getting the nuggets out of our stocks and report that throughout the week. That's a big play for us to be in it and kind of have this call be a hands-on process where we're learning and doing. So I want to push that out to the group more this week. So Will, I saw you put something in the chat, just the
there's the 4 things you mentioned while we was talking.
Got it.
One thing I want to for those who have Android, I don't know how many I have Android. I don't know if iPhones work the same way, but if I Google my stock enough times, then my news feed will start showing me every article that comes up about it. So that's how I keep in touch with my stock. It'll be easy. I don't even have to go looking for it. As soon as I scroll over to news, the first article will be about my stock.
I like that. And I know we
Okay.
are trying to keep time constraints, but I want to ask a question to everybody in the group. Like, we're trying to learn through everybody having a case study, on one particular stock so that we can get a lot of information in a little bit of time. Because you know about your stock, you can educate us on that. Roku just seems like a stock that right now is kind of out of, I like it. I like how it sounds, but it sounds out of my grasp.
It's expensive. It's definitely it's been crazy. But I think like any of these big stocks, you look at the growth for what it is. It's $400 now, but it's still 10% if you put your money into it. Like if
Don't
you
go
buy
buy
a
that bag.
$40 stock and it goes up to 50, that's still 25% growth. If it's a $400 stock and it goes up to 500, same deal. So you got to think about it from a percentage standpoint, not just the value of the stock. One thing I want to say to William's point, and that's a damn good point, Will, I'm glad you jumped in and said that. Just go to Google Alerts. Everyone should do this anyway. You don't have to keep searching the stock. You can actually put the Google Alert so that they'll email you when something comes up, particularly about your stock. So I think we should do that either way. That's a good thing for all of us to have. So if you just Google alerts and just put that as an alert, anytime something comes up, they'll ping you. Google will ping you on your specific stock.
All right.
If it's overwhelming, you could play with it as you see fit. We all get so much information overall, but that's a really good point, Will. So on that note, Todd, you got you came in, a year in. We almost a year in the group, but
Oh wait, one question.
Somebody new. Come on, go ahead.
Sorry.
I love the one hand raised.
Sorry, I just also, I know that people might be doing options, and we discussed, doing the options call. I just want to reiterate that, like, I feel like I really want to learn more about options where I can figure out I feel like I have a good gauge of future, like how things might turn out and how things might not turn out. And so I want to get into options because I feel like when it comes down to, this number and buying 100 shares or something, I just want to make sure I'm putting the right information.
Right.
And
Yeah,
you know,
I have a buddy, Marlon, who Taisha and Will know, who does options. Like he said he made $3,000 on options last week. So he does it. He plays hardball with. I was gonna have him come on. I don't know if we're all ready. It would be. It could be also an offline group if people are not ready, because it is a different. I haven't even jumped into options yet. So.
So he could give us a lesson, and Marlon is
I
really
like
good
to-
at teaching. So let's just jump in.
let's get
I hope we
Marlon in. If it's too much, I'm willing to do a Corona brunch.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think an hour would be a good, if he takes over a full session, that'd be good. I mean, that's what I'm excited for you guys to learn, because as I'm learning it, I'm like, yo, I'm just thinking back on all the money that I like threw to a company. It was like, I'm gonna buy a whole bunch of shares. I'm like, yo, I could have just saved money by doing this
Right.
and share with the same. So I'm super, I call Rel all the time, super excited, like, yo, look, that's what I just learned. So
I have another because I know Terrell, you kind of the lead man on this call, but like if we could do a group, especially for like learning the terms and stuff, because I can read them all day, but the terminology, as far as even as simple as the value of a stock, sometimes it gets a bit, because it's not just talking about value in the way that I've used it since I was, every day since I learned the word. I'm like a little confused about some of the terminology that I've been learning as far as the stock is concerned. So if we can go over some of it and, be able to read a stock better, it would help my research a lot.
That's good. Are you a visual learner, Ty? You think?
I'm a listener, like get on a call and hear y'all talk about things and teach me kind of learner. Like in
Okay.
school, I would be able to listen to a lecture better than and write it. Yeah, I had to have to write down the notes of what the person was saying and read it again.
Got it. Yeah, I'm all for that, and I'm all for us having a couple of definitions every week that we start the call with. Like it's nothing wrong with that. I think we could sharpen all of our IQ up, because it just helps you learn. It helps you retain the information faster and learn the technicals faster.
Especially when you're having that talk within conversation and I'm practicing using the words. Because other than that, I'm at a loss for it sometimes for the technical terms.
Good point.
Also, the margin calls. I think I would like to. I'm kind of teaching myself to learn about the margin calls, especially with Ameritrade. Depending on how much you have in there, you can basically buy stocks against money that you don't quite have in your Ameritrade account, and either flip them through that day, more day trades, which also I want to learn more about, because I think last week I said, or 2 weeks ago, I was saying like, I want to do something whereas I'm earning $100 a day. Yeah. If I can make $100 a day, I can move to the Dominican Republic and fucking be happy and make money and live a great life and not think twice about nothing.
Well, I'd say options seem to be an easier play. Day trading
day calls.
Tools,
okay.
And it is a day trading is a different animal. It's a totally different animal. But it's exciting. The only thing about day trading, it gives you that Vegas rush.
That's what I like. That's how I started this.
Think about,
I stopped going to the casino and started putting money in the stock market. Like literally.
Crazy. You get crazy. You can lose somebody too if you get too crazy. So
I don't know how long you've been in that group, but my boy Bradley, I did like a little interview thing with him a while back during the summer, and I posted it. It's on like a YouTube page. He used to day trade heavy, and he was just like, "Yo, you won't even have to learn for it." Like,
it's crazy.
Between the two,
you have 401k money wrapped up.
Between the two, I feel like I can make what I want happen. If I get my day trading down and my options down, I can flip, what I need to do to just live happy.
My ex has been trading since November, and he's up to day trading status already because he had the coins to flip it and be in it, and he had a day trader that know his shit. He had the Vegas mentality, just really up in his ear talking about just buy this, put your money, buy 500 shares, and he did. He spent that big money, flip it real quick. So he's up to since November.
He bought Tesla.
Huh?
He bought Tesla.
Yeah.
I mean,
Buy Tesla.
literally-
Tesla made a lot.
literally,
Made
my
people a lot
Tesla
of money.
stocks, all my Tesla stocks was brought on margin.
Mm.
Wow.
You know, I just did a margin, got that money, and then paid it back as soon as I could, and kept the stock. You know,
Wow.
but I want to do a margin buy, but buy in the morning and sell before the end of the day, so I don't got to pay the interest on the margin.
Mm.
The margins is cheap if you start calculating it.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's really not.
Ameritrade is
bad at all.
10%, I believe.
On the interest.
But for the year.
Oh, it's not for the day,
No, it's for the
No.
year. That's
bro.
10% for the year.
I literally called them.
Annual percentage.
literally-
on margin.
I swear to God, I literally called them, and they were like, "It's 10%," and I just instantly thought, "Oh, damn, each day is 10%."
I'm on the phone with them like daily because I use the margins as well, and I kind of was like worried about that too. I was like, wait, before I use these, I need to know everything. They charge you pennies on a day.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
my
10%
God.
for the
y'all-
year.
Yes. Thank you so
Will and
much.
Terrell,
I'm
y'all
about
need to
go
put that in
crazy
the
tomorrow.
agenda then. Y'all need to put the margins call, the options call, and the definition. Y'all need to put that on the agenda. And
Yeah, I definitely want to learn options. I'm actually learning options now, and I did do my first option trade.
Oh,
Yeah, margins is something not
you,
I don't think it's heavily on Robinhood. I think that's most different.
It's
different
really just
platforms.
leveraging you money. Most
Yeah.
accounts, when you have access to margins, they give you half of what your total account is worth.
right.
Most
Yeah.
brokerage firms. So if you have 2,000, they're going to give you 1,000 extra to trade with. So. you know,
oh, that's why. It's both. TD Ameritrade does that, right?
yeah.
TD
Yes.
Ameritrade.
Yeah, so
They
you'll
Oh,
have
okay.
more
For what it
money
is,
than
got it.
you can to, and it's all balancing your account, your portfolio. So that's why you need cash, or you should have 5% of your portfolio in cash so you could jump in on stuff. If not, you have margins and you don't need to have that in cash. You could be fully vested in the market.
Ameritrade does it also.
That's the benefit of having.
Yeah.
It's
When I
essentially a
first
loan.
transferred
They
my
call it
money in,
margins.
yeah.
Essentially a loan.
Alone, right?
The loan against your brokerage account. So,
And you need a certain amount. Everybody can do it. TD
Yeah.
Ameritrade requires you to have 2,000 before you can do
on
it.
Oh.
Robinhood, you have to be gold to use your margins. You have to be
That's
paid.
crazy because Sid didn't know where it was coming from. He was like, "Yo, you need to jump on TD Ameritrade. They give you money."
That's
I
the
was like,
money.
"What?"
But it's an interest, but they do give you
and
money.
this is why we have an annual group. So 10 years from now, we're all just wizards at this shit. And
Right.
you just don't have people just saying, "Oh, they're giving you money." Yeah,
But
check
they're
that out.
not giving you money. No, they ain't giving you money. No, there's interest on that money.
They're loaded.
Yeah.
They loaning you money.
Mar-
They ain't giving you money.
margin is also dangerous. Just beware. Don't fully use it.
Yeah.
Save most of it. If you're gonna take a small amount. I don't know how much you have. If you have 2,000, use maybe 800 of it, because if those stocks drop, they're gonna sell some of your stocks.
Yeah.
If your value of your portfolio drops, they're gonna sell, and your margin is called a margins call.
Yeah.
So don't fully
They
vest.
said they're gonna get their money. They're gonna
Yeah.
get their money
So
when
wait,
that
wait.
ratio starts getting
This
out
is
of
a
whack.
whole new lesson we getting into right now, y'all. And the
'Cause
time
I
is
was
up.
about to say,
All right. So everybody, whoever got margins, hold off to margins till next week, and we'll talk about margins next week.
Okay, well, my
Okay.
thing ain't about margins. What I wanted to say is that some of the terminology that I had brought up before, and I think Kamal had touched on, is available in those earning calls. Mine is coming up on March 26th. March 26th for Growing Generation. But that's how, like, if there are things that this is what I'm gonna do, for instance, like if there are things that, terminologies and things that you want to learn more about, perhaps listen in and write them down as you listen to the earnings call. Because I've listened to one, I think it was Neo's, and I was really confused, not just the fact that they weren't talking in English, but but they were also like using jargon that I was like, what the F? Because I think it was being translated or something like that. Whatever the case was, I realized that I could understand it, but not really.
I also have one thing. Is anybody else investing in PW Power REIT? No. Okay, never
REIT?
mind. Then. Yeah. It's like it's another renewable energy company. and I thought that I heard about it on this call, but maybe I didn't.
It's called PW.
Yeah, PW.
REITs are considered they pay a dividend.
Uh-huh.
I think that's considered, well, if you don't have much in it, but it's considered it's taxed at regular income. Just so you know.
It's confused. Like when I first got it, I thought it was an electronic, like a lithium battery company. But then I found out it was also a cannabis company. So then I really just got lost in it, and I'm investing in it.
No, REITs do real estate.
Yeah,
So
REITs are totally different.
Yeah.
Like Stag is the big REIT that we spoke of on this call. Stag is the warehouse REIT that Amazon uses to house all of his information. So REITs is totally real estate investment trust is a REIT.
This is a company that I was saying that I thought we spoke about 2 weeks ago when we were talking about like the Home Depot of cannabis.
No, this
is
I
that
think
company.
That was Grow.
No.
That was Grow Generation.
That was Grow Generation.
Yeah.
This is
But
what I was
folks,
thinking.
let's do this. So let's because I always want to be respectful. I don't know what folks have to do. We have this set for an hour, and we can keep going on. So let's save that for next week to talk briefly. If you want to talk about REITs, we'll talk about the vocabulary, and we'll talk about margins. But we still want to report on all the questions that was asked about your companies. Make sure you've noted those down so you could come back with those. Vicky, we definitely going to be on you about Roku. That's mad exciting. Todd, if you're going to join us, or if you just like, these dudes be chatting about folks getting bit, they be chatting about every other thing but money, and you don't ever come back and we don't see you. We just want to, welcome you. We feel the love all the way from Germany.
I'll be back, though. I have to schedule my sleep around it.
If throughout the week, just post that, I had my first experience. It'd be great to, to share that with the group. I had my first experience, with the chat group. Here's my takeaway. Anything that you want to share within the group. If you on the chat, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that'd be great to do that and just share that with everyone else, because that's what we wanted to talk about briefly as well. Just engaging the group more and getting things tighter so that we are coming away with like clear takeaways and we're doing the work and holding each other accountable. So that's the real play for this group, so we can keep growing, and it's something that we all look forward to and get the goods that we need to get from this group. So folks, on that note, Will and I will make sure we start a little faster and get the agenda out, but it will be some of the things we talked, and then we'll tighten up what the expectations are on our adopted stocks since we have that.
And get Marlon on for that options.
Yeah, I'll get Marlon on for the options if that's next week, if he has time.
We'll do it a few weeks out. I'm gonna give you some vocabulary words for the options. There's certain things you gotta know.
Got it.
All right.
All right, guys. Thank y'all for this meeting. Great conversation.
Have a good evening.
All right,
Nice to meet
thank
you
you
all.
guys.
All right, later.
We'll catch
Great
up.
week.